everyone. Welcome to Break Room. I'm excited about this solo episode this week because I'm going to take you through how to nail the recruiter interview. As you probably know, I've been a recruiter for well over a decade. And so the amount of screenings I've done on candidates are endless. I recruited across supply chain, transportation, logistics, marketing, digital, sales, finance, you name it. So I was interviewing very technical roles all the way to creatives. And these are kind of my insights for you based on really working across an entire business functional space that I can share with you. So, the biggest thing about a recruiter interview is you have to realize it is the chance for you to get your foot in the door for the hiring manager interview. So, it is important and you do need to take it seriously because I think sometimes people brush these off as, oh, it's just a screening, they're not listening. Oh, we're listening, we're taking notes, we're assessing further. A good recruiter will listen on your conversation and actually it will trigger additional roles that you might be good for. I used to do this all the time. I would listen to candidates and think, your skill set and potential is actually really good for this team. And so I'm going to lead you in this direction versus the role you talked to me about. That's again a good recruiter that is listening to you at just like a more complex level. It's not always going to happen, but know that it is a possibility. So, to nail the interview with a recruiter, first, start off strong. And what I mean by that is you really want to have the beginning pitch, if you will, if you want to call it a pitch, the beginning intro about yourself, pretty solid. This is because sometimes if you start and you're rambling for 10 minutes and the recruiter hasn't even asked a question yet, and you're going on and on, you're trailing off and you're going to lose your audience who's the recruiter taking notes. So you want to also make sure that you're starting in a story form at the beginning. So I've had some candidates start at like where they're at now, jump backward, go to the left here in another year. It's very confusing. And so you really need a picture like laying out your resume in a story form and you're telling the story to me. So again, start strong. Really have your walkthrough of your resume in a good pitch, because otherwise you're going to lose that recruiter quickly and they're just going to be like, this person's not right for the role. So start off strong, have that condensed resume pitch ready to go. And you don't want to have this same pitch every time. You want to tailor it to that job you're interviewing for. I'll give you an example. I hired a lot in marketing. Some, of course, people are very multifaceted in their background. So if you're a marketer with maybe you have experience on the digital side, maybe you've done a little, you've worked on Amazon, and then you've also done like some analytics. Well, depending on the role you're interviewing for, you really want to summarize more so those skills that pertain to the role you're interviewing for, not just a general walkthrough, because again, you need to make that like first impression strong. So start strong. The next is know your audience. Some recruiters have a technical background. So they maybe have been on the marketing or sales teams before. And so they're going to have a lot more in-depth knowledge. Some recruiters don't. I didn't. I would just sit in marketing and supply chain meetings and learn. And so I started to really pick up on some of that technical language, but a lot of times I didn't. So I appreciated when a candidate would kind of explain things in a very like detailed, concise way, because I didn't have that background. And again, a lot of recruiters don't. They typically have like an HR background. So know your audience of who you're talking to. Easily go on LinkedIn, see what their background is, see how long they've been at the company, because then they're going to have a really like good understanding of the culture and everything like that. The next is, this is the most important. Number 3, hone in on specific examples that pertain to this job and your potential. And what I mean by that is, as you're interviewing, look at the job description and think of examples from your background that match those details in the job. That is what a recruiter is looking for. If you are rambling on and on about an email marketing example and the role is solely focused on like Amazon platform, then you're missing the mark here, right? So you really want to make sure that you're pulling examples that match the job description. And if you don't have specific experience in that space, what about your background has that potential? So this is where you want to focus on skills and themes. Themes are huge. For instance, you want to look at the company that you're interviewing. They likely have competencies or values that they're looking for. So a lot of big companies are very transparent about this. You can go on and read a ton about Amazon and Google and LinkedIn, and bigger companies are very transparent about what they're looking for so that you can do your research and kind of preparation beforehand to come to that interview and have specific examples that pertain to those competencies. I'll give you an example. Amazon's a huge one on this for like customer centric competency or innovation, or another one is adaptability, right? So these are like key themes that you'll see a lot of companies looking for, but everyone is different. Every company is different. You want to bring your specific examples from your resume and your background to that discussion. Again, just because it's a recruiter interview doesn't mean that you just like don't give these details. You really should, because recruiters are looking for this. And then another thing, the biggest thing that I like to say is like, be specific by telling a little more of the background and setting the stage. If you've heard of the STAR method, it's about setting the stage. So what that means is when you answer a question from the recruiter, they're likely going to be screening just some high level skills. The hiring manager will likely tell them, hey, make sure you're looking for XYZ. And so the recruiter in that screening will be looking for XYZ. So what you want to do is be able to answer a question and describe the background a little bit. You don't want to just jump into what you did, okay? You're missing the background of the story, which actually is very, very valuable for the recruiter to understand what type of environment you've worked in. Is there potential from working in that environment that can translate into this role? And what were you navigating to even do your job? Those are actually very, very important facts about your background that a lot of candidates just zoom over and they go right into, I did XYZ, but you're missing this huge factor. So for instance, in order to do that project, did you have to influence stakeholders? Were you told no multiple times and had to go back and redo? That's showing resilience and adaptability. When you're talking about data is a huge one right now, right? So how were you actually digging through the data, and how did you even come upon the story and insights to do that project, right? So these are all really important to share during the recruiter interview, because again, they're listening and they're screening for this. And lastly, ask questions. Just because it's a recruiter does not mean that you're just going to sit back and it's just an easy interview. You want to ask about the culture equally as much as they're asking you questions. And I think this is really important because, let me hone in on this. Use this opportunity to ask questions to the recruiter because it's going to give you a lot of really good information for your next interview, which hopefully is with the hiring manager, right? A lot of candidates, I would be shocked to just say like, nope, I don't have any questions, or can you tell me about the culture? Do not ask a generic question like this. You are on a call or a video interview with a recruiter that has a direct connection with the hiring manager. Why don't you ask a little more about the hiring manager? What are they looking for in this role? Who's on the team? What type of skills are successful on this team? Very simple questions that are going to give you a leg up in the next interview. So I hope this week was super helpful for you. Again, as a recruiter at heart, I love giving this information, and I'm really excited for you to join me each week here on the break room. Thank you for stopping by.